Well, all right.
Ready?
Yeah. So this is podcast number 7.
No, 8.
8. 8. I put 8 on my hand.
Hey, number 8. Yeah. Welcome to the Generational Podcast. I'm Steve Brown.
And I'm Owen Brown. So
And
that's dad and son.
father and son, talks.
Mm-hmm.
But, you can join us for all kinds of stuff. If you guys want to ask us questions, I think you have an email. Do you have an email? But it was for like a different podcast, wasn't it?
Right. So I'll have to make a new one, which
Okay.
would be fine.
So, what do you think we'll have as an email?
Generational podcast at gmail.com
No, if we can have that one, we'll find it.
before anybody else steals it.
Well, someone will probably steal it. We'll try it. We'll do it before we post the video.
Exactly.
Yeah, sweet. We got it down.
So,
Go.
Alright. I know that people usually ask scientists, they would ask each other, what do you think about climate change? So, what do you think about climate change as a citizen?
I think I watched scientists talk about how there are ice polar caps that are increasing in size right now.
What?
Yeah. So it's climate change, right?
Mhm.
It's not climate finishes, right?
Okay.
Everybody wants you to believe it is climate finishes, like, oh, it's the end all to be all. No, it's climate change, which means if it changes in one place, it's going to change in another. It isn't permanent everywhere. It's kind of like life and everything. It's kind of like the Earth has a way of balancing itself out.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's warmer here, it's going to be colder here, right? So we've had a lot of, our world is forever changing.
Mhm.
And a lot of people know the change and the history of the change.
Mhm.
So if you look into history, like normal, if you look into weather history,
And you do work with weather.
I do work with weather, yes. And I don't work with weather.
Uh-huh.
That would be godly. And
You're not a storm chaser.
I'm not a storm chaser. No. But I'd love to do that one time or 2 times or for like a summer.
Are you qualified to do it?
I don't think I would be able to look at. That was a cat. I don't think I would be able to look at storms
Mhm.
and be able to tell exactly what they're going to do because weather is always changing.
Mhm.
And I've been chased by weather. We've been chased by weather
We have
together.
been chased by weather.
It's been a little crazy. You can tell that story if you like. Nobody knows about that, I don't think.
And,
We've never talked about that.
Okay, so concerning weather,
Bro, he's crazy right now.
Vader, that we talked about in last podcast.
Yeah, we moved. Oh, by the way, we moved from the garage to the living room because it's a little cooler here and we're having weather outside now. And Vader seems to not like the fact that we're in here
Talking.
because he needs the center of attention. All right, good. So tell him the story.
Okay, so which one do you want me to talk about?
What happened? What happened in 2011?
I mean, there's multiple instances of weather
Talk
trying
about
to
them
chase
all.
us.
Talk about it.
So what we were supposed to do was we were coming back from
What first happened?
tornado.
No. First happened was what?
Hail.
Jishindayo.
Oh yeah, earthquakes. So in Japan, you'll get tons of earthquakes depending on where you are.
So why did we originally leave Japan?
Fukushima Daiichi disaster.
And the earthquake caused it, right?
Right.
So we left Japan for that.
Yeah, a power plant exploded. So what were you supposed to do?
Yeah.
Not just gain radiation from where you're at. We seen that happen in Kiev. Not Kiev. Yeah, Kiev.
Is it Kiev?
I think it's Kiev. No,
Well,
Chernobyl.
Chernobyl.
There we go.
Chernobyl. And anyway, what happened?
What happened was we moved from Japan to America due to the fact that
The
nuclear
earthquake.
Yeah, the earthquake and then the nuclear spillage, which is now affecting animals.
I don't know anything about that, so I'm not going to speak on that.
Okay. But it's
But
really
if you know
interesting.
about it, then go ahead and talk about it. I have nothing to say
Well,
because I don't know anything. I don't know enough.
it's where radiation causes unisex animals, where they don't have a gender.
Oh,
Yeah.
Bud Light.
That's funny.
Oh man! Just to let y'all know, a lot of country folks have known for a long time that Bud Light's gay anyway. I'm just saying. And you know, Anheuser-Busch did pretty good for a while. I mean, they had Natty Light. You know, they got the good old beers.
Are you natty?
Oh man, ain't nothing like a warm Natty Light out of Daddy's ice cold cooler. It ain't ice cold cooler. It's just a warm Natty Light. But anyway, makes you want to, man, makes you want to drink a Mad Dog 2020, boy. You don't even know about that.
Mm-mm.
Y'all 90s kids, y'all know. Y'all know. Mad Dog 2020.
So
Anyway.
when we moved from Japan to America, we were in Kansas and we were in Reading, and a tornado hit us. Now, when that tornado hit, you could not hear. Well, you heard the tornado, but everything else
sound like?
was. It sounded like a train passing by you, but thousands of them at the same time.
Facts.
It sounds like a blare. Like, it explains what blare means.
Yeah.
Like a tornado.
And then we
Yeah.
realized how crazy Grandpa actually was. Didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's crazy, isn't he? He's nuttier than squirrel shit.
Yeah.
Tell you what.
He was watching it for so
I
long.
couldn't believe him.
He was like, I'm gonna watch it before I go in.
then he's like, I gotta go take a pee. And he's out there pissing by the tree in the backyard. And you hear, ooh, and Dad goes, oh shit! Yeah. I think he's probably, man, I don't know, maybe he was like in his 60s at that time.
Oh, he was just trying to live life.
Oh man, he was just like, let's see what it is.
Let's
you
see
know,
what it
let's see
looks
what's
like
going
real
down.
close.
Kansas people are crazy.
It
y'all.
was just across the
You
street.
just don't know. Like, what are you doing? I was like, Dad, I think it's time to go.
I don't think you gotta watch
it. Oh, good times. Good times. I don't know if that was a good time. That was a little scary, but I mean,
You
try to make the best out of the worst of things sometimes.
Right.
And that's how a lot of people cope with things. So, like, people try to cope with things by joking about them.
Mhm.
That's a coping mechanism, you know. So, you try and find the silver lining in the pile of shit, pretty much.
Mm.
I think shit's allowed, right?
No.
Well, I put it. This isn't for kids
Oh, okay.
on YouTube, but
So teens?
I think we're allowed to say certain things like stuff that we're allowed to say on maybe TV.
All right, good.
So you're not.
Oh,
but
no, I can't.
You start
You
cursing.
can.
We're gonna have push-ups.
Yeah.
We can have you pushing up the world, man. Be real strong. Anyway, go ahead with your story. I'm
okay.
sorry.
So
We've
we
got
were
a
in a
whole thing.
tornado first, and then after the tornado, after all my toys got stolen by the tornado. Oh yeah, I'm still a little mad about that.
Salty a little bit. Maybe.
Salty a little bit. Thank you, Earth. Not really. Thank you, God. Could you help?
Bro, you were like how old? 7?
Can you help me get some more toys?
You don't need them now. We're gonna play with them in your room. Dude, you're 16 now. I mean, I still have toys. We still play with toys, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
We're still kids.
We're still kids. You might be able to find a little secret somewhere around in the video.
Yeah, we've got them everywhere. They're around the house too. R2 is on the ceiling fan. I'm waiting for somebody to flip it on, and I'm wondering who it's gonna hit or what it's gonna hit. I don't want it to hit my flat screen because that would just kind of ruin my day. But I mean, you know, it would be funny to see one of the cats jump into the air and snag it. But, you know, we have things, they're set up everywhere. You know, we got little things on pictures and Star Wars figurines everywhere.
Right.
Oh, I heard him meow. Vader's coming. He's coming. I know it.
Mm.
All right, so.
Okay, so when we were second time, we were coming home from Topeka to Emporia, and a hail hit us really badly inside of our Chrysler.
Yeah.
And then when we were coming back, we couldn't see anything, and then a few times a semi just swooshed past us. And it was weird because we couldn't see like 2 feet from our car, and we were wondering where we're supposed to go. We didn't know if there were tornadoes near us. It was just a wild guess. So that was very scary too. I know you have a few more.
No, you pretty much nailed them. I mean,
Mm.
I grew up in Kansas, so we've always had weather,
Mhm.
and we've always watched it like idiots. I'm one of the guys. I
Nothing
told
better
you,
in Kansas to do.
we have our talks.
Mhm.
We have our talks sometimes. Like, listen, dads, you're trying to get comfortable, huh? It's all right.
Without being so tense.
Yeah, don't worry, man. You know it's gonna be out there. I'm chill. We usually have talks when we drive in the truck, windows down, and talk about stuff.
Yep.
But I think one of our recent talks, what did we talk about in the truck recently? What did we talk about? You remember?
Give me a second. I don't remember.
You don't remember what we
I
talked
think if we bring the topic back up, I'll be able to.
That's what I'm trying to think about. I know
quickly.
we've had several different topics recently that we talked about. One of them, drugs.
Yeah,
So we talked about drugs.
they're not cool.
Yeah, well, we talked. It's okay. So this lady that I met, and I get to meet people in my career.
Right.
And this lady that I met, she told me something that made me like, oh, that makes she made something out to be a really good point.
Okay.
And we have in life you have these circumstances, right? And you have these lessons,
Right.
and you have free lessons,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have bought lessons.
Okay.
So a free lesson is something that maybe I went through, and that I tell you guys about, or you guys about, and that lesson you guys can listen to and go, I'm not going to do that shit, right?
Yeah.
That's a free lesson. That's
Right.
a lesson that you can learn for free. And then you have
Bot lessons.
yeah.
Hooey.
And those bot lessons, those cost you,
Right.
right? So how do they cost you?
Well, it cost me a few spankings. A few times where
Those
I
are bot lessons, huh?
yeah, a few
You learn
times
through pain.
a few times I ate too much food, so I didn't get as much food
Later.
later.
So those, I mean, and then free lessons are things that I talk to you about, right?
Right.
So also a bot lesson is something that maybe you had to pay out of pocket for. So you had to learn from, oh yeah, I'm not going to go and speed again. Then have to pay the ticket. That's a bought lesson. You had to pay out of top pocket for that. Then you have maybe you have a friend.
Who was speeding?
No, you have a friend that maybe you're trusting this friend,
Okay.
and the friend betrays you, betrays your trust.
Okay.
That's a bought lesson,
Yes.
right? It's the same thing if if a family member or somebody betrays you. That's a bought lesson. You have to learn it from. You didn't pay in money, you didn't pay in pain, but you paid in heart, right?
Right.
So that's still a bought lesson, right? So it really made me. It was like a really, really interesting point to me when she said that. She was like, you got lessons in life, you got free ones and bought ones, and sometimes you get yourself a bought lesson, and those are the ones you always remember because you had to pay for it, right? And unfortunately, that's life.
Put your hands up.
Keep them up. Finna buy this 3-piece and a soda, right? Yeah. I think that was one of the things that we discussed, and we went on. We talked about drugs and how certain drugs have an effect, especially if your family is already what did it say? Like,
Well,
I already have a history of drug abuse or addiction, that it is important as parents to let our children know the history of that, so they can have a free lesson, and they don't have to have a bot lesson, because that kind of lesson everybody has to buy.
Mhm.
Because when you start going into a rabbit hole of addiction,
Mhm.
then everybody pays.
Right.
Because not only is a person that is addicted having to pay with their life and their health, but everyone around them is paying from their own heart. So you're like almost double downing on the pain threshold for payment
Okay.
of that bot lesson. But it's something to think about.
Definitely.
Yeah. So what else are we gonna? Oh yeah. When you turn 18, what is your plan? What did you want to do?
Well, the first thing I want to do is maximize all my SAT and ACT scores,
Okay.
which is a good
Why is
idea.
that so important?
Because during
I-
high school, you have other classes, and sometimes you can't focus as much on ACT and SAT. So that's why when you're out of school, you can take those scores and make sure that you completely pass them, that you have the highest possible score and get the best scholarship. People always miss out on the tests sometimes because they just don't take the time to do them.
Okay. What if I told you I never took it?
That's fine with me. I know where you're at, and I know that I have to just do a step up.
Yeah.
And a
Yeah,
little
we've already
bit.
talked about that, because for me, that's what I want you to do. Because that's, as a parent, I think
You can still
secretly, as a parent, we are, and some of us not so secretly at all, but we're all rooting for our children.
Right.
And to hear you say, "Oh, I want to get a little bit higher than Dad," I love that. I
And
love
everybody
that.
else.
It makes me want to get a little bit higher to make you go a little higher. You
Do
understand?
it. You gotta
I
do
love
it.
that, because that makes me just that brings joy to my heart that you say that.
But if your dad's like Elon Musk, and
Yeah,
you
it's
gotta
gonna
go
be
higher
tough.
than him, oh my goodness.
But some maybe for perspective's point,
Mhm.
put yourself in maybe that position. How would you feel? Like, what would you want to do? You understand? Like,
Do it somewhere else.
yeah.
Make it in a different
Yeah,
sector.
put it in a different sector. The same, that's
Control that part of the world.
yeah,
That controls the
yeah.
other.
That's awesome. That's the way to think. I love that. I love that you can.
Instead of-
I love.
Instead of going, hey, I don't like what my dad's doing, I'm not gonna go the
Or
same
against it,
direction.
be like,
I'm
hey,
gonna
you know
do
what?
something else. I'm gonna go against it. Okay, don't go against it. You can
Well,
go
that's like
against it in a different way, which is controlling a different.
helping
different
controlling
area.
a different area, helping
Right.
things. I think a lot of I think
'Cause that's
you have the right mindset on that.
Because
a
that's
good
your
mindset to have.
own thing. If you want your own place, and if
Yeah.
you want your own little tiny business world,
Mhm.
just do it in a different area.
There you go.
Start from scratch somewhere else.
Yeah.
It will take longer, but you won't have any kind of struggle between family.
Yeah.
And that's what you don't want.
And it's always it's always good to have a little friendly competition in family
Mhm.
when you're doing things, but you have to make it known to be a little friendly competition.
Mhm.
Yeah, secret haters and stuff. That would suck.
Competition can help or hinder.
Yeah, the hinder part is that's no good. You
Right.
know? That's when you have to I've had a lot of instances where people want to compete with me, and
Or
I'm
you're
just like,
button heads.
yeah, I don't do that. I'm just like, you know what? I don't have time for that, and you're not really that important to me.
Mhm.
And I'll walk away because I've got.
My own-
I don't know. That clock is ticking all the time for me. You hear me tell you all the
Yeah.
time. I always say, like, listen, dude, I don't know how long I got here because our time is limited. Lord knows. And
15 years?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
5?
15 minutes. Who knows?
Ooh.
Lightning strike. Anything can happen at any time. The Lord decides to call you home. I guess you're going. You know what I mean? You can't really like.
So don't waste it as much.
Yeah. So I don't have time for me.
Mhm.
For me personally, I don't have time for it, and I'm gonna separate a lot from that. You know,
That's what we talked about. That's okay.
And that was it,
That was
huh?
it. Yeah.
so
Where what matters is spending time with the people you love, and well, making sure that life is steady and good.
it doesn't the drama is always brought in by a negative thought or a negative action, and then you're wasting a whole bunch of time just focusing and fixating on that negative actor or that negative action instead of just like, well, you know, I've taken this approach with you where I've gone like, well, I'm just going to move on. Like, we understand what happened. Let's not do that again. Let's just move on.
And if you do it again,
We dwell on it. We don't dwell on it. If you do it again, that means that you just don't care.
and I shouldn't do that.
Yeah, and sometimes you just have to be honest with everybody in the room and be like, you know what? I just don't care. Honestly, you know, Dad, I don't care about that. And I told you. You told me. You told me about a certain sport. You know, Dad, I don't really care about that. I more care about this.
Right.
And I was like, for me, you know where I'm at. You know, I love that sport. And you're like, yeah, you know what? For high school, I'm just not going to play that sport, Dad. And I'm like, you know, like I said, for me, that was one of my like
And the thing is,
triumphant like eras of my life was playing football. I said the sport football. I loved it. And I know you played early, and then you were exposed to like high level really early.
Really
and you
early.
were there with these cats in high school level from grade school at their practices and doing their thing. And then after that, you came back and was like, you were cool with it, and then you got into wrestling, and then it was just like wrestling.
Well,
and you know, as a fighter, I love it that you're wrestling. I love it, and I know, and this is another thing why I respect it so much, and I respect you so much that you have chosen to not play football and dedicate your craft to wrestling. So, because you know that's what you want, and I gotta respect that too.
and it's not just that, it's because my body isn't fully grown at my age group,
Okay.
because I
You
was
are-
a year early.
Yeah, so
Compared
you're
to
a year
everyone.
behind everybody in his class. He's the youngest. So then I respect that a lot, you know, and I think that you did the research. And that's another thing that I realized, that as a parent, they research things. So if we tell them a lie, they're going to be like,
Nope.
you're lying. And
That
then you're
was-
just like, put the damn phone down.
Right.
Yeah,
Don't bring that phone up. I swear to you. You need to check what I told you.
You do it later. So like my biggest thing was, you know, I hate that. So if we're talking in the middle of the conversation, don't pull your damn phone out. Just wait. If you think I'm lying, go to your room. Give time to
I
vent.
really want to check
And then,
now.
then give time until everything's cooled off. Strategically come back and say, hey, you know, hey, you were inaccurate on this.
Hey, I got a presentation
You
for
might
you.
end up back in your room, but it's cool. No, but it's one of those things where, like, as a parent in 2023, you kind of have to deal with the fact that that's why I said we don't lie. So then, if I tell you I don't know about something and I'm not going to talk about it, then usually you're just like, oh, okay.
Or
I
I
know
search
about
it
it.
and then I talk
Yeah.
to you again about it.
And then there's been instances where I've told him, dude, I swear if you pull that phone up right now, I'm telling you the truth. And if you pull that phone out right now, I'm gonna slap it out of your hand.
You're wrong.
Right? And then there's been times where he's been like, you're wrong. He's got it on your phone.
And then you're like, you're right.
And then I'm sitting there driving, and he's like, you're right. I was like, I know I'm right. But it's okay. You know, when I'm wrong, I'll tell him I don't know. I'm like, I'm not sure, but this is what I think I know. And then, you know, if I don't know, I don't know. And then we'll figure it out together.
So it's more, is it discourse that we have sometimes? Where we have different opinions and then we talk to each other about it instead of like an
Yeah.
argument?
We kind of have like, you come with knowledgeable facts of your position, and then I come with what I know of my position, and then we kind of hash it out. And usually it's kind of like you know, we can agree to disagree type of thing, and sometimes it's a we agree type of thing. And one thing is that without one of us kind of going to the middle, neither one of us can come to an agreement on certain things.
Right. And
So-
if we can't get on an agreement, it's fine. We
Yeah.
can still live with it.
Yeah. So
It's
there's
not that big of a deal.
yeah. So it's just like games, for instance. I see like everybody, even people my age, still play games. I don't see the
It makes a lot of money, depending on.
it
how
doesn't
you use
make you a lot of money, so therefore, or learn a skill. That's what you hear me say all the time. I
And
can.
this is the right skill.
This is his like dad to me to see if this works. Kind of
Yeah.
like.
And then we'll try different versions of it later, but
Right now we still change it up, but I mean this is kind of one of the things that we talked about. But game wise, I mean, there are people in our family that seem to play games, and I don't know if they're making money out of it or not. But that's something that I never thought would happen ever. Like that was so recreational when I was growing up. It was like, oh, play games, and that was like, oh,
yeah, that's it.
and that's now it's like they've got like
Championships for it.
in Vegas and stuff, and
And I'm
people
like-
betting on it. And
They're
I'm
like making
what?
millions, and I'm going, what? Huh?
That's crazy to me, but it's
Same
there.
here.
It's there, and that's amazing that we're in
Society
such
that
a
can do
society that can do that.
Yeah.
That's kind of a beautiful thing, and that's amazing. But games now. When we're talking about games, like I don't agree with games, but
We're gonna get to the point.
you play games.
Yeah.
And I let you play games. And he's got the living room. He's got the room. I'll leave the room. I'll do whatever. I'll go in there and hit the bag or something and let him do his games. And then he'll come in and we'll start training. So.
I would like to talk about VR, virtual reality,
Oh.
because virtual reality helps with the military, especially law enforcement, and it teaches them situations that sometimes are too high cost to reenact.
High stressed.
High stress,
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
high stress situations.
I
They can mimic it.
I think VR is a very good tool for training. I think it's a very good, very good tool for training. Everything training. Also, I think it can be a very good thing for drones and video games to where we can VR and then actually use drones and stuff because we can minimize loss of life on the battlefield. But
There's not too much of a downside to
there
it.
isn't really. I don't think VR should. We have so many breaks from reality right now. We have this. We have and people. We don't realize it because it's such an integrated part of society. But televisions and radio and phones and like you said, phones. All these things already are a break from reality as is. So more breaks from reality, like VR, like a permanent break.
Yeah, that wouldn't be.
I just don't think it would be healthy. I think it would be I think it would be great to have VR locations where people can go and play VR. And some people might really want to have it in their homes, and if they want it, that's cool.
They already have it in their
They
home.
have it in their homes now. So for me, that's just not my world. But maybe somebody wants that to be their world. I don't understand why. Maybe a lot of it has to do with
Not liking the world.
not liking the world, or the fact that the world has so many breaks from reality right now that they need another break from the real reality
Well,
of it all.
I would
which
say that works.
it's sad to me.
Well, they might be disabled.
Okay,
That.
that's different. That makes me want to have those people. Okay, they want to be running in their VR. That's cool,
Right.
but I don't see it being healthy for.
Normal people.
Yeah, I think we have so many breaks from reality now, and so many sources of entertainment. I mean, have it readily accessible. I just don't think it's going to kick off the way that everybody wants it to. It may. Is something wrong with my hair? Is my hair standing up or something? You keep looking up at my hair. I'm like, what, I got a bug or something? Dude?
No, it just looks oily.
It is, man. I got that good hair conditioner from Tarjay.
Tarjay.
Yeah, Tarjay. Y'all know that's French, right? It's Tarjay. Yeah. Tarjay's got them stir buckets.
Stir buckets.
Star Buckets. Buckets.
Mm.
Yeah.
Tarjay and Buckets.
Star
J.
Buckets.
Star Buckets.
Tarjay and Star Buckets. They don't give us any money.
So
So I'm not really saying their name. Y'all know what it is. Y'all country folk know exactly what it is. Everybody else is like,
Tarjay.
yo, what is he saying, Tarzan? What is he talking about, French? Hey, you know, what do we got, a freaking invasion going on here? You know, you never know. They got you know, got the. What? What did he say? Tarjay? I've never heard of Tarjay. Never. Right? So, you never know. I mean, listen, they don't give us any money, so I ain't saying things.
Exactly.
You know, just like that one that I was talking about on the way home that was going to be really funny.
Right.
Yeah, they ain't pay us no money, so I ain't doing that. That'd be good though. I thought of a whole slogan for him too. A whole new slogan. Make him millions, dude. Yeah. Oh, by the way, you do know your great grandfather was great grandfather's brother. No, great grandfather's brother. Yeah, you were great grandfather's brother.
Was Steve Capra?
No, Steve Capra was my dad,
Oh,
biological father.
not Steve Capra.
Frank Capra.
Frank Capra. Goodness, Frank.
Frank Capra, It's a Wonderful Life. So that's another thing. So we've got those ideas of like how to move people back and forth all the time.
Slogans,
He
propaganda.
knows I have to slow. I can't drink caffeine after a certain time of day.
I learned that too.
My mind, yeah, mind races. It's really it's one of those weird things that my mind just keeps. I'm a forward thinker.
Don't know if that's a gift or not.
It's a gift and a curse. I mean, I see things differently. So like when I run into people, like if I get a bad vibe, I'm not sticking around to find out if it's true. I'm out. Right. So I don't play that. If you show me a bad side of you, I'm trying to get away from you. It's like, to me, the bad is like the rotten on the apple. And then, but it's an infectious rotten, so it spreads to other apples.
Okay.
So for me, it's like, ooh, I gotta get away from this apple. He's rotten, or she's rotten, and that's how I move. And people hate that about me.
And get away from trouble.
Quickly.
And you have to.
I just, for me, I don't want to stick around. You like to sit and watch. I don't like to sit and watch. He likes to see what happens. Well, I'm gonna stick around and see what happens. I'm gonna see how this plays out. I'm like, yeah, I'm out, dude. You can see it play out. I'm out. I'm not playing around. I don't have, like I said, I don't have time, and I don't want to be involved. I've had enough bad stuff go on that more bad stuff is not what I'm trying to get around. I'm just trying to be around, the best of things and enjoy what I can while I'm here with everybody here. And that's how I try to live now. And I know back, and I tried to explain to you that I've got so many free lessons because I did so many dumb things.
So I got free lessons from.
I got free lessons for you. Yeah, I got paid lessons because I did so many dumb
lessons.
So you get free lessons, and I think
that should be talked about between family.
Yes, it's don't hide your bad stuff from your kids. Like in the past, like if you have a bad history of doing something, the last thing you want is somebody else to be telling your kid your history.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want that. You want them to be like, oh, yeah?
Okay.
That's what it is? Oh, okay. He already knows the history. Right? So it's like you don't want him finding out for somebody else. Like I found out from my sister that my stepdad was a bully.
What?
Your grandpa? But okay.
Does it explain a lot of things?
It explains a lot, dude. He's tough. I thought it was military. No, sir. Listen.
And military.
And he was military. Listen. If your dad had glasses growing up and his glasses weren't broken at any point in time, he was a badass mofo. That's all I'm saying. Because
you had the same glasses since you were 5?
yeah, they didn't get snapped in half by any bullies. Well, then your dad was the bully. Because before they could say 4 eyes, he already cracked them in their nose and made them have no eyes because they were crying. They couldn't see. Okay? That's the kind of dad I had, and that explains so much. Like, some people wouldn't even talk to me in the town. Like, they heard my last name, and they were just like, nope,
Brown.
no, nope, just stay away. Nope. You know, but then there were a lot of good people in the town that I grew up with, too. So, I mean, it was just, I say that out of comedy. Nobody take that serious, please. It's comical to me, because I saw a picture of my dad. And he looks like a geek in high school, man. I mean, he looks like you look up geek and it would be it would look like his picture, but you know what? His glasses aren't broke. And if you tried to say geek to him, he'd be like, "Oh,
no."
He'd probably slug you right there."
He said, "The most I am is a hippie. That's it."
Yeah, no.
Not even a hippie.
He was
Not
a badass.
Yeah, he was.
What he was a badass. And he wasn't finna go around him and talk any smack.
He was bad.
Because listen, I had to experience it firsthand when I was a little bit. I think I was a little bit older than you are now.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a girlfriend, right?
Right.
And this girl, I'm not going to say names because I don't want to put names out there. But anyway, this girl had me twirled around her little finger, man. She was doing things that no other girl had. Not the thing, but some other things around the thing.
Okay, just tell me the story.
We'll keep it a little PG here. But anyway, one time I wanted to go see her, obviously. And I got mad and I punched holes in the wall.
Oh.
Right? And it was in the wall going down to the basement, so it was like drywall that was up, but it hadn't been finished yet. But I punched a hole in it. And like a week later, we were arguing about grades or something. I think it was grades because my grades had dropped, and I became what I told you, rebellious, and wasn't going to listen to anybody. Thought I knew everything.
Did you have piercings?
Yeah.
When you were that age?
Yeah, I did. Yep. I had my left ear pierced. And you know, when I did it, when your Grandpa Brown, when he pulled into the driveway, he saw it and he goes, "What the hell are you, some kind of fruit or something?" I didn't even know. I was like, "Fruit? Yeah, so I'm banana, baby." You know? No, I didn't say that. He'd probably punch me. But, no, he would never punch me. He'd spank me maybe, but...
He'll give you, go sit down.
He'd probably give me a lot of work to do out on the farm. But where was I going with this? I got off on a tangent here.
So you punch holes in the drywall.
So I punched holes in the drywall. And then, you know, I was all angry in my grades. And then he wouldn't let me go see this girl again. And he goes, "Steven, come up here." And I was like, "Shh, all right." So I'm at like the top of the stair. And he goes, "Did you do this?" I go, "Yeah, I did, like last week." He goes, "You did, huh?" And I just got to the top of the stairs. As soon as I got to the top of the stairs, he hit me with a right, left, right. Pop, pop, pop. I fell back into the door. And then I was like, "Oh, that's it, dude." And I come bull rushing at him. And as soon as I did, he hits me 2 more times, dude. And I mean, this time, he hit me and it dropped me. And I fell on an end table and I busted my arm and my arm swelled up. Right? And at that time, I was like, "Screw it, let's get outside." Because he's tearing, this is the house he grew up in. So, in hindsight, this is the house that he beat up his little brother in. Right?
He's got a record.
All his cousins, yeah. I'm on home turf, bitch. Right? He lit me up and he knew every ounce of everywhere. So there was no, like, he was in an area where if I tried to throw a punch, all he had to do was duck behind the wall and then hit me 2 more times. Like, that was, they always have his home, and I never realized it until I was like, "Damn, Dad, he lit me up." And when we got outside, as soon as we got outside, my mom, your grandma, says, "That's it, motherfucker." Or, excuse me, "That's it. You know, get the hell out of my house! And I grabbed all my shit and left, and I never looked back.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I was such a shit. You know, it was all my fault.
Mm-hmm.
I take all that one. I deserved every bit of I got my ass whooped. I was outside, I can't even imagine what would have happened. You know? I mean, you know, it was one of those things where I was just one of them young kids, you know, young, dumb, and young, dumb, and full of cum. Oh, what's his name? Charles Barkley said that today on the news thing, and he was like, "These young boys, they're coming." And then Shaq picks up his drink and like does the whole Shaq smile, and then drinks his drink. It was so good. I couldn't believe it. It was so awesome. Oh man, Shaq trolling, man, that's great.
Okay.
But yeah, respect your parents, man. And then everybody wants to talk about generational Xers. Listen, we had to step back because everybody was saying we were doing things wrong. And a lot of Gen Xers stepped back and just kept quiet and raised their kids quietly. And this is your product right here, of my product one.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully we can figure out how we can do it
Okay.
a little better.
Yeah.
You know, because I've not done it perfectly. But like I said, I've done a lot of things a lot of experiences that I've shared with him. And I haven't sheltered him much. And I think that's also has a military way of raising kids as well. You know, because guys that are in the military have a way of letting their kids know the rough and tumble stuff real quick. We can't sugarcoat kids because we don't live in a sugarcoat world. Now, our society is sugarcoated a little bit. But
yeah.
that is the privilege of living in our society right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is that we can have things sweetened outside the household.
Mm-hmm. We don't risk.
But you go outside the country and try and push that, and you learn really quickly.
They'll arrest you.
Well, things aren't. It does. I don't know about arrest, but things aren't what you think they are.
Mm-hmm.
Your world can be quickly changed or even ended.
And people should know that.
Yeah, it's not a
fun world.
It's not wonderful all the way around. You know, it's a very harsh world out there, and I've done that by trying to get you to go to different places and see different things, and experience different cultures, because you have to understand that this is a privilege. Safety is a privilege. Being able to defend yourself is a privilege.
Being able to have water in the house is a privilege.
Yeah, not having to go get your buckets of water
from the well like a mile away.
More than that, and then carry them back, and then work out and train, and then that water isn't even good enough to drink. That's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anymore or anything, it's not even really that good to drink. You have to purify it anyway.
Exactly.
Like there's so many things that we take for granted, and I think that granted. And I think we need to pinpoint that. I'm umming it. So we can hum. Anyway, that's a joke. We have to realize that we have to protect what we have, and that what we have is special in this country, and it's for everybody. And it is your right to disagree. It is your right to agree. And
no contest too.
It's your right to no contest. Yeah. And it's a wonderful place.
A wonderful life.
Yeah. It can be wonderful. It can also be very harsh. You know, not every, like, the world can be a very, very harsh place. America is a very harsh place.
Sometimes.
In certain places it's harsh. In certain places it's not safe. Right?
Okay.
In certain places you have drugs and crime area. in certain places you have homelessness. And right now, there's a rate that says that the homeless rate is declined. No, no, no. What happened is the language has changed. And it has changed to people that are homeless are considered retired right now.
What?
Yes,
They're retired?
retired.
How are they retired?
Well, there was a bill that was passed that says that if you don't have an establishment or a job, or you're not looking for a job, which means you're not going to unemployment, then you're retired.
Okay.
So if you're not actively looking for a job,
Mhm.
then you're not homeless. Does that make sense?
Okay.
It doesn't make sense, does it?
No, it doesn't.
No, but that's how they're skewing the numbers and the language right now.
My question is, why aren't they just putting homeless people to work?
Homeless people don't want to work, Owen.
They don't want to work.
No, that's why they're homeless.
Eh,
Like some people that are home. Listen,
homeless
there's-
and want to work.
no. There's some people that may be homeless and want to work. There's some
Mhm.
people that are addicted to drugs. There's some people that are addicted to drugs and are have psychological issues,
Mhm.
right? So they might be mentally insane, and they're living on the street. So there's a case by case situation. The thing is that right now, if you look at statistics,
Mhm.
the statistics are skewed because of the language in the bill that was passed.
Really?
So it's making the current administration look good.
Mhm.
But if you look at it, it says retirees, and you have to look at definition now. So a lot of the things that are being changed now are from the law perspective, and lawyers are using it through bills to change language in the law, so they can change the law,
Right.
right? Instead of it's a
It's a second way
it's
around.
word porn puzzle that they're able to con their way into numbers of making people believe stuff, and it's sad.
Okay.
But understand that if you look at the definitions, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Well, my thing is, I don't think they should do that, because when you have homeless people disappearing, right, now you call it retirees disappearing. Now, we know that human trafficking, a lot of part of it is they're a part of homeless shelters because they're undocumented at that point. They don't have a house, they don't have a job. So if they go missing, who's going to know?
Well, the shelters know.
Well, even then, they might not be in shelters.
So that's when you see a lot of people go up on the missing board because they were at the shelters and something happened to them.
Okay.
And you're right, it's trafficking. It could be trafficking to other countries. They could be anything. Anything could be going on and we don't even know about it.
Now, which one raises your concerns more? Retirees disappearing or homeless people disappearing?
Both.
Both.
But I don't. They're trying to make it look as if there isn't a homeless problem right now.
And they're
We have something like 3 million or something like 3 million in homeless. So I
Check
don't have
on
my
the
phone
phone.
right now. I'm not gonna pull it up, but I watched it earlier, and I'm
So-
pretty sure it was 3 million. And then we have a total of 3 million that are actual homeless, but because of the language change, we only have 1 million.
Mm.
So that's not good.
Does it go by state or is it by whole country?
I
Who
think it's
knows?
whole country.
Wow.
I think it was a whole country thing.
Okay, that's bad.
It's not good at all, and it's sad, kind of, that we have to deal with these types of things because we're supposed to watch out for our own countrymen, and I feel like we're not being looked out for at all.
Well, it depends on the state you go to, and then
I don't even think it's.
cabinet.
I mean, in our state we're good
Right.
because we have a pretty good governor,
Right.
and that's okay. But in other states,
And public services.
public servants, but in other states, it's corrupted.
Mhm.
Corrupt. And it's been corrupt for a while.
Okay.
And you're shaking that, Bubba.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know specific names, and I don't want to know specific names because it's evident already that it's there. the fact that we have agencies that aren't doing their jobs about this corruption is concerning. It's sad.
So you're saying that government doesn't do its job sometimes. And
I'm
it
saying
shouldn't-
government agencies aren't doing their jobs against higher ups because they want funding. That's
Okay.
what I'm saying. And it's sad because go get those guys because those are the real bad guys. It's like we have an elite mafia that is running around and they're using the certain agencies, and I'm not going to put any agency on spot, but they're using certain agencies as henchmen and hitmen, one way or the other. If it's not a hitman by killing them, it's a hitman by killing a character, and it's freaking sad. We don't live in a third world country. We live in a country where we have clear laws that govern things, and clearly these ladies and gentlemen in these agencies aren't doing their job to the fullest extent. Because if they were doing their job to the fullest extent, they'd be taking those people's places later on down the line and realizing, hey, the only way for me to move up is to take these guys out.
Mhm.
And once you guys realize that, then we'll have a better run country.
Well, if you're good people and you're doing that.
Well,
So-
I believe everybody has the capacity of being good. And who cares what they have over your head? I'm taking your spot. You gotta get to that competition, baby. And I think that's one thing that we've lost. Everybody gets comfortable where you are. No. You need to take that next guy's spot above you, right? You need to make sure that they're held accountable. The ones underneath keep the ones at the top accountable. The ones at the top will try to bribe their way to the ones underneath. The ones underneath will try to blackmail the ones at the top. This is a regular game. This is a game it can be
business,
in business, in high school society, in life, in government. It's the game.
right.
You have to get with it if you want to run it, and if you want to make it clean, you gotta
You got to start somewhere.
you gotta
And-
get them.
And it's hard trying to make the school cleaner sometimes.
Wow. Well, with the school, what do I teach you?
Well, become the good guy.
Just be the good guy.
Right.
Don't
People
be
follow.
a snitch. You don't have to tell on people.
Mm-mm.
You can stick up for people without telling on people.
Right.
You can throw advice without having to get anybody else involved. You can be friendly without having to have a teacher or somebody involved. You can go right to that person and talk to them.
Right.
And with your concerns. And hopefully they'll see that you care about them.
Right.
And
And-
sometimes they won't.
and-
Sometimes they'll tell you to, get out of here.
Yeah, you're just talking nonsense.
Or
But
you're
then
a
you'll have
loser.
other people who just listen.
And some people will love the fact that you care about them.
Right.
But I've had people tell me, like, when I've confronted them or said something, maybe I didn't do it in the right way sometimes.
Same.
And
Yeah, I agree.
I had to. I had, like, looking back on it, I understood what I did wrong, and I was like, man, I can't say anything anymore, and I apologize. And that's all I can do.
Communication degree right here.
All you can do is apologize for the bad shit that you do, and if they don't accept it, then they don't accept it, and you gotta move on with your life. You can't dwell on the fact, because if you dwell on it, it'll just eat you up anyway.
Mhm.
And that's usually what the other person wants, and I don't like to give people what they want.
And then you're like, I'm just gonna live in my own world now.
Yeah,
so it
I
doesn't
mean-
matter anymore.
That's how I am.
So
I don't need validation from people for happiness,
Mhm.
and I never have. Just like I don't need validation from someone on how much a man is or what a man is, or you got to go out and make millions, dog, and don't work with your wife, dog, or like, what do you know? You don't know. You don't know shit,
Mhm.
right? That's your perspective on your life and maybe your experiences, but that's
with your
not mine.
friends.
With your friends and the people that you couldn't trust, right? So like
Everybody's different.
everybody's different. Like,
But there are certain silver linings that are
and there are certain things that are the same. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. There are certain things that are the same, and there are certain things that are different. But
like the truth. You might want to speak about the truth with family.
yeah, you always speak the truth. Well, you try to treat. I try
Treat
to,
every situation a little different.
Well, I try to speak the truth in everything that I do because
Mm-hmm.
at least the truth is I know it. So if I see or learn something new, I'm always cool on learning perspectives on new things or changing my view on things.
Mhm.
What I'm not cool about is having someone like shove my face in something and tell me I have to eat it. Right? You tell me I have to eat something and you shove it in my face. Dude, I'm 100% American.
Mhm.
You do that to me,
I'm gonna.
oh, you're catching hell. Dude, I'm throwing up 2 fingers and we're fighting, bro. We're going down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna listen to you. I'm not gonna. I don't do things out of what you tell me because you tell me to. I've never lived that way. I do things
that's
out
the
of being,
American way.
I do things out of being informed,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
So you know me. I don't care what the TV says. I don't care what this freaking expert thinks he says,
Mm-hmm.
because for every one expert that says something, there's 5 experts that say something else.
Right.
Right? Do your research, figure it out. I'm not going to tell you what to do
Okay.
because that's your life, dude. You want to go and do things here and there, and you want to go and take this and that. That's your business. That's not my business. That's not my business. I don't care what you do. You shouldn't care what I do. If you do care what I do, then you better start paying my bills. Right? Because I got some notes that need to be taken care of if you care what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I got a house note that needs taken care of. I got car notes that need to take care of. I got notes for notes and notes for days. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanna come in my life and tell me what to do, then pay everything. Otherwise,
Leave me alone.
leave me alone. Sit down and shut up. Because I don't need your opinion. I don't need you to tell me what to. Because I obviously I ain't doing such a bad job. Right? This kid has, by the way, if we haven't talked about it, he's had 2. What are they called? What are your awards?
No need for awards because
No,
people
no, no.
just know when
I
to
can
talk.
say this.
People
I can
just
say
know
this.
when I
He
talk.
doesn't want to talk about it, but he had 2 awards that are very, very high awards that as a parent, we always want to know what our kids are doing, right? He doesn't even tell me these things, bro. He's got the first one I knew about. The second one I didn't know,
Mm-hmm.
and that just goes to show that I'm not doing a bad job, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if you have my Facebook, then you can see it. If you don't have my Facebook, then you don't know it. And I'm not going to go further because he obviously doesn't want everybody to know.
My thing is,
It's on his transcript, colleges. Woo!
I don't need to explain my awards because my personality will just show it if I just speak.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's no need to show awards when you know who you are. And you
Yeah.
can actually explain.
You know who you are, but they don't know who you are. And
Yeah.
showing those awards kind of helps them gauge who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then again, I see where you're coming from. You'd rather just talk and do it this way. I understand. That's why I got to respect your privacy things.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
First Amendment.
it's the right to privacy, and everybody has. Okay, first of all, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, as a kid, if you're under the age of 18, you don't have a right to privacy in your parents' house. Your parents have all the rights to everything you have. That phone that they pay for,
Mm-hmm.
that's a right. If they don't pay for the phone, obviously, then it's not theirs.
If they're paying the rent,
They're paying the rent.
mm,
That's their house.
partially
If you're not paying the rent, you ain't
keeping the bill.
even paying no bills. If you ain't paying no bills, you're under my rule.
Mm.
It's a dictatorship. It is. It's a dictatorship.
dictatorship.
You know 100%. What I say, if I say it final, I'm doing it. It's done. And you're like, oh shit. Dad's on one of those things. Right?
I remember earlier you were talking about how, as Americans, if something's wrong, you'll go and tell, right? Be like, this is my expertise in my area. Leave it alone, right? Like when you don't have representation in something, you kind of have to like talk your way out. Like you were talking about the society thing, where I shouldn't just say society thing. How in society it's where if the top is messing up, the bottom comes up and.
Well, that's kind of like a ranking,
Mm-hmm.
right? So.
By example, I want to say by example, not by just theory. We could see this with the Declaration of Independence
Mm-hmm.
and Thomas Jefferson against George King George III.
So we've always been rebellious,
Right.
is what you're trying to say in America.
Whenever something's wrong, we go
We tend
and give a compromise.
we tend to speak up, and that's the thing for the First Amendment is in other countries
They don't have
the rule they don't want you to speak up.
Mhm.
They want you to shut up, and they have the power to make you shut up.
But we have the Second Amendment, so that power is kind of evened out.
Yeah, that power is the equalizer in America because it's like, oh, you're gonna shut up. Well,
Not really.
I mean, you can take away the digital rights to make people shut up, but then I still have a public square, and there's still a public square, so I can still go to downtown City Hall and speak to everybody around the city, and then I can go. You know, it's when you shut somebody down one way, they just find other ways of communication. Back in the day before we were founded as America, it was bars and churches.
It was
Bars and churches that
Bars,
everybody
churches.
gathers, and something else, right?
30s. It was the speakeasies.
Bars.
Yeah.
So, like bars and churches were places to gather the people for ideas, and when things went down,
That's where you went.
that's where you went.
That's a
what you did.
prohibition. That was
I
a
mean,
big part of it.
You had to learn different things in different areas, right? So, you like when people shut down one way, you open up another door, and something else happens.
Mhm.
And that's just how we've been able as a society to move forward. And we've always been in America, we've always had hurdles to go through.
And those hurdles are usually compromises that need to be talked about.
Yeah, right now we're self-inflicted.
Mhm.
Right now a lot of it's self-inflicted. All of it is self-inflicted.
Mhm.
It's not homeowners aren't stabbing themselves in the chest here or stabbing their wallets, but the higher ups have
Really stabbed our wallets.
really stabbed our wallets. They've really cut us deep. And if you look, it's right on par with 2008. The economy right now,
Mm.
and who was in charge then?
I'm pretty sure it was Obama.
You guys see what I just did there? Just it's sad.
That some people have how do you say
Agendas.
it? Agendas, not just agendas, but just being bad leaders.
It's not a bad leader thing. It's
I
literally
think so.
an agenda, Owen. It's not. Listen. It's not the person. It's everything around them.
Right.
So it's never.
the
It's
cabinet.
it's never. No. It's the donors. It's the donors.
Mhm.
So it's never the spokesperson. It's just that's just the centerpiece that they put up there to make the centerpiece to make everybody look right, and then they're just feeding what they want to get everybody to move a certain way.
Mhm.
And the best way to counteract that is to just not even listen to them, and that's what they hate the most. Like they hate it if you don't listen to them. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. You have to. 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 I went through how many years of people telling me I have to do something, and I'm just
wow.
like, at one point you just don't. You don't put the spotlight on yourself. You just don't say anything. Like,
Okay. Well,
all right, that's how you feel. Okay.
I'll just live on my private.
You use the Southern hospitality. Oh, bless your heart. Oh, bless your heart. Oh, bless you, child. Oh, bless you. You're so sweet.
Thank
I
you.
hope you have a good day. Really, that means, you know what the hell you're talking about, you know.
Get out.
Get out of here now. You know, so it's one of those things where it's, you have to here be aware of
Mhm.
everything.
Right.
So you got to see all the oncomers, and you got to be able to shuck and jive. You know what I mean? Move around, slip, you know, dance a little bit, and dance around them a little bit, and then hit them with the 1-2, and then slip, hit them with the 1-2 again. Maybe hit them with another overhand, knock them out, low kick. You know, low kick, sweet chin music.
You're right. Okay.
You know, you just have to. It's one of those things you got to be tactful, is what I'm trying to say. And if you're not tactful, with the way you're saying things and the way you're doing things, people will try and get you every time.
So
So like my profession,
okay.
right? In my profession, there's certain things I gotta say, and there's certain things I can't say.
Mhm.
If I say certain things, I'm getting in other people's profession, and I'll lose my license,
Right.
or I can get sued, right? So there's certain things that I'm just like, yeah, I know. But then I also have what is called a record of good conduct
Mhm.
and recordings. So when people start to ask me questions, like I gotta say, I'm sorry,
I can't do it.
I can't talk to you about that.
Mhm.
And that is like, because I always want to have the utmost faith in everyone. It's one of those things that always reminds me that everyone is trying to get something for nothing, and they will do any means necessary to do so. So I get confronted with that a lot of times in my profession, because everybody's trying to get me to say something or to do something, or in order
Slip up.
to slip up
Mhm.
for me to pay, or for someone else to pay, or for this to happen. And that's one of those things where people of higher, like,
So you're saying watch out. Just watch out.
yeah, everybody, listen. Nobody wants to accept the fact that they're stupid. I'm a freaking idiot. I don't pretend to know everything.
Mm-mm.
And some of the stuff that I do know, I learned from idiots. So, don't take my word to the bank every time.
Mhm.
And I'll tell you that. But some people, they get a degree. I've got a degree, but they get a degree, and they get a doctorate, or they get a little piece of paper, and they automatically think that since they have that piece of paper, they can manipulate others.
I mean, it shouldn't be that way.
No, that's what they think.
That's what they
And
think.
that's what they do. And
Immediately.
and for some people, it's the truth, because for some people, they look at that piece of paper and they're like, oh, it says doctor, and they're like, oh, well, he's a doctor, and they think, well, just because he's a doctor
Doesn't
or she's
mean
a doctor,
everything that they say is
that
true.
everything they say is true and that they're good.
They're still people.
Yeah, they still have the capacity to be bad people. They still have the capacity to lie for profit
And make mistakes.
and make mistakes, just
Make
because they have a
mistakes.
piece of paper. So I get confronted with these things all the time. Like, I get confronted with, like, people that think they can manipulate me and ask me questions and get me to say things, and I'm just like, yeah, no, you're gonna have to call somebody for that, and I'm sorry, I can't get into that field, and I have to move on.
Right.
But this is every day for me type of deal.
Okay.
But not everybody gets that experience.
Mm-hmm. So you're giving me a free lesson by telling me that people will try to manipulate you, and
Especially if
they
they
might-
think they're smarter than you.
right, and they might have degrees as well. Just understand that people are still people. They breathe the same air. Well, they might not think the same way, but they bleed the same color of blood. Well, if it's green, I don't know. Lizard men. No, I'm kidding. Lizard people.
They're underneath our showers, sucking our sweat. I don't know about all that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, keep going, man. I like
Anyway,
hearing.
so the lesson was that you need to understand that other people might try to dupe you. Make sure that you're not
I've
going
been
to
once.
going to get to the next level. So just keep an eye on your surroundings and keep your loved one close, and tell the truth to your loved ones, because you don't want them thinking that you're duping them.
There you go. That's the best one. And the one thing is, I've been to all these other countries. Oh, and you've been to some of the
Mhm.
countries with me. And all the countries that I've been to, and even living in Japan, I've always noticed that, the Chinese work together.
Right. Family with family.
Chinese will work together. No, in other countries, when we're in Japan, when I'm in Japan, the Chinese work together. The Africans work together.
The Koreans were.
The Koreans work together.
Mhm.
You know what the Americans do?
What?
Work individually. They don't work together.
Oh, that's so stupid.
Yeah, and it's because of our culture, because we're so individualistic in our culture.
It's good and bad.
It's good and bad. We're able to come up with some pretty interesting things sometimes, and then that's about where we're good at. The bad side is, we are not coming together on anything else, and we're letting a lot of dumb stuff divide us. things that aren't even a percentage on a big scale of world events, but they make it seem like it is. It's so funny.
Okay, do you want to end it on that?
I do want to end. Listen. I want to end it on. Let's see. Number 8, generational podcast, talking about all kinds of things.
Mhm.
We'll try and hashtag it. If you guys will please share,
Mhm.
and we'll see where this thing goes. And if we get some merchandise and everything, we'll remember the people that shared things when we start merchandising
Mhm.
and doing generational podcasts.
Because we could talk about anything: food, drinks,
Oh man,
toilet paper,
toilet paper,
Toilet
wipes,
paper.
wipes,
Mhm.
wipes.
Shirts, pants,
Shirts. We do a variety of things here.
Mhm.
We
a
talk.
variety of experiences.
Oh gosh.
Oh goodness,
Too
so
many.
many.
Too many. Lots of fun though.
I would agree.
Yeah. So this will be number 8, and yeah.
Yeah. See you later.
Bye.